Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I am sitting here with wrestler, talk show host. I feel like maybe he's a producer manager at this point. I don't know. We'll find out. RJ, put your hands together for RJ City.
You've never been tempted to change the theme song?
I love the theme song.
I was just asking if you've ever remixed it or changed the genre.
I love the theme song. Mm-hmm. I have heard from people like you who try to get in my ear and make me doubt myself, but I say no. Okay. I like it. Right. Why? What do you hear? What do you imagine?
I'm just asking if you ever wanted to change. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying it's good or bad.
Yeah. I have never wanted it to change. Mm-hmm. Why? If it was called Allison Rosen is your new best friend, hosted by RJ City, what would it sound like?
Look out there, coming for you. These crazy cats, what will they do? It's a lot of talk, but some of it's a pity. Allison Rosen and RJ City.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
That is really good.
So, just keep your options open.
Yeah, I guess it could be something like that.
I'll try and throw some music behind there.
Thank you. Oh my God, what if it was...
I kept everything flat, so you could put in whatever music you wanted.
Yeah. Right. What if it was called RJ City as your new best friend?
It wouldn't be.
What if it's called RJ City Hosts This?
Well, Hey W is a show, and it has a theme song.
How does that theme song go? I can't remember.
It's kind of big bandy almost.
Trying to bring back that Brian Setzer vibe.
Right. And then it's like, it's hey!
What were we doing? What were we doing then? Do you remember when we were like
in the late 90s?
Yeah.
I think it was
Roberto Benigni and Brian Setzer. We were like, these two guys for about 8 months.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Was that all because of Swingers?
Maybe.
The music part, not the Roberto Benigni part. But
I mean, except that Squirrel Nut Zippers and Cherry Poppin' Daddies and all that. Was that? I feel like that was before Swingers. It wasn't?
No, it was definitely after.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I stand corrected. Tony, it's my show. Get out.
Have you ever seen on the Grammys Keely Smith with Kid Rock?
No.
It's one of the worst things. You know Keely Smith? She sang with Louis Prima. I'm getting into my big band business here. She was an old singer from the 50s. Uh-huh. And she tried to do a duet with Kid Rock.
Let's hear it.
Awful.
I would like you to... Oh, hello, Tony.
Oh, hi. Well, now you want...
I know.
Keely Smith?
What happened to my volume here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. And he's the producer, you said?
I mean,
look,
supposedly.
Tony, do this. Tony, do that. Play a drop. Now I forgot what I'm even looking for.
Keely
Smith.
Hang on.
Keely.
Hang on. You're doing a drop, and then you're doing Keely Smith.
Oh, I'm doing a drop.
If he had a broom up his ass, he could sweep the floor,
I feel like
too.
Birds have urine that comes out, though.
See, there you get that
That's
again.
not Keely Smith at all.
Did she ever pontificate about cloacas?
Certainly possible.
Possible, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to hear Keely Smith and Kid Rock
from I don't know what Grammys.
That sounds awful.
Back when
2008, it appeers. Okay. All right.
So back when his political affiliations were just hinted at.
Here's the old clip first.
That's her.
When your eyes meet mine.
Should I just go ahead and fast forward?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm just going to pick a random spot.
So
here.
he's got to
do anything you want me to.
Not that. Let's see. Where do they start singing?
Then that elevator starts to down and down I go, down and down I go, round and round I go, like a leaf caught the tide. I should stay
Is that
away.
Dave Kaz on stage with them playing saxophone too?
She sounds good. She sounds the same.
Yeah. Burning desire that only your gogutsu can put out the fire.
What does he look like? Does he look like himself?
Yeah, he looks like his normal douchey self.
This is actually not as bad as I was expecting.
Awful. What is wrong with you? Tony, can you confirm that Kid Rock is bad at this?
Oh, yeah, I think Kid Rock is bad at most
I think
things.
you need to raise your musical standards.
Did you see I thought of you because on the SNL 50,
Yeah.
they had Paul Simon and Sabrina Carpenter.
So let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about Paul Simon. Because I need to talk about Paul Simon.
Okay, I know you love him.
Yeah.
But that duet was painful, right?
It was pretty painful. I mean, I wasn't as bad as, it wasn't horrible, but I was also just like, she kept up with him. I mean, he's clearly, I mean, he was always a good singer, even though he's older. And
Right.
She's a good singer.
Together they weren't good, though, I thought.
No. Interesting idea. You know? I was
Is
like,
it?
Okay, all right.
It was
well, it's not a
weird.
pairing that you thought was going to happen.
I was surprised. It was weird because it seemed like they didn't, like I couldn't figure out who's singing what here.
Right.
Someone needs to figure this out.
I understand.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It wasn't that good. Fine. You want me?
All right. Now, what do you want to say about Paul Simon?
Well, I saw his retirement tour 7 years ago. Made a big drive to Nashville to see it.
Wow. From
And I was
Canada?
like, wow. Yes. Wow, this is really, I'm so happy I saw his final, thing. And now 7 years later, he's going on tour again.
Do you feel duped?
Well, it was because he lost his hearing. He was losing his hearing back then. Or he said he was done. And then his hearing came back.
Oh.
And I think he thought, well, we can do, he's doing a lot of dates. And I'm kind of worried about him.
Yeah.
But I bought tickets for him in Toronto, and also I'm on the road so much now that if the dates link up, I will absolutely go see him again. Yeah. But I'm going to be looking at him like, all right, you're going to die soon, right? For sure. Because like, fuck. It's disrespectful to me.
Right. It's not respecting your time.
Right.
I feel like there's so many ways musicians and wrestlers are similar. Like,
yes.
Neither can ever actually retire.
There have been wrestlers that I've been at 4 of their retirements. And then their last match on top of it.
Right. Yep.
Sometimes it gets so pathetic they retire so often that they can't even have a retirement anymore.
Because
They just got to go, this is it.
Right. No one believes them.
Yeah.
Tony, did Motion City Soundtrack do a farewell thing?
Yeah.
Were you there for it?
I came back for that. I left for like 3 years, and then I came back. That was 2016. And then, we came back in 2020.
And then, but as of 2016, were you guys like, okay, bye, see you never?
Yeah. That was going to be it. But then several years passed, and then we were all like, maybe we'll do it here and there.
Internally, was that it for you?
Yeah, well, it had kind of already been it. But then when they were going to do this farewell thing, I was like, I'd come back for that if you guys want me. And
you heard about it and you got in touch with them?
because our bass player called me to kind of like, this, just so you know, this is what's going on.
Right.
And I guess I caught him off guard telling him that, and then they were into it. So.
And then how did the 2020 thing happen?
That was just, we had all gotten away from it for a bit, I think. And then, just sort of had the attitude of like, we could do this here and there. Like maybe not all the time like we used to, but like we'll do a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there.
And no members were feeling unethical?
Like they had lied to the fans, like the RJ in the audience?
No, well, because that was the intent. Like we planned on being done.
Yeah, but you weren't.
True.
You sold me on it, and then you were like, you went back on your word. Certainly say that.
There is one person I do remember on Twitter that anytime I would post something about us playing shows, he's like, yeah, I flew to your Chicago show years ago for the final show ever. And like, yeah, he's literally the only person that gives me crap about it.
Don't you also feel like they said goodbye to you? And then you're still standing in the doorway?
Right, like now you're walking the same direction after saying goodbye.
Yes, but my whole thing too is like, all right, you like the band enough that you wanted to take a trip to see there, so why are you mad that there's more?
You like the band's farewell enough.
Yeah, maybe they were celebrating you guys leaving.
Right.
They just wanted, they were celebrating the end.
I like endings, and I know it's good to sometimes feel, if you feel sad about something, it's a sign that it was good. You know? So, maybe keep that.
I don't know. I think that like as a fan, the idea of someone coming back, I see why people keep doing it. Because how exciting. We said
To
goodbye.
lie to people.
Yeah.
How
pretty
exciting
much.
to lie to people.
Listen, Tony, Hope Halper.
This is the last episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend.
I should do that. I should announce it over and over and over again.
See how many patrons you have next week.
Yeah. You think it'll go up?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of, at the texting level, Hope Halper has had a question for you.
For me?
Yeah. Can you ask Tony why Motion City is trying to come to New Jersey on a Wednesday? I know this isn't up to him, but New Jersey goes hard for pop punk. We deserve a Saturday, especially in the summer. And then I said, I will ask. And I'm keeping my word, unlike Paul Simon.
But you said this is the last Wednesday in New Jersey you guys are ever going to do,
Ever.
right? Okay.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, things get booked and we can't just have only play on the weekends. We're going to be out and we've got to fill those days between the weekends. And it's just as simple as that,
What Hope
Halper.
Hope Halper should be thanking you for keeping their weekend free and not fucking up your Saturday. What is Hope doing on a Wednesday night?
I mean,
We go
seeing
hard.
Tony.
We go hard. You're going to go hard. You don't stay out too late. The show's not that long. What time? If it's an 8 o'clock show, what time could people be in bed?
In bed?
Midnight.
Yeah, probably because usually the shows with the openers and everything, by the time it's done, it's usually done around 11.
Pretty reasonable for a punk show in New Jersey. So,
RJ, how many times have you seen Paul Simon? Ooh, Tony and I are going to try to guess because I love a game. I think you've seen him 19 times.
no.
Okay, well,
God.
all right.
I was going to guess that was too
you've
high.
Seen him 6 times. Tony, what do you think?
I already had 8 in my head, so I'm
Okay.
sticking with it.
I've only seen him 4 times.
Really?
Now, I will also say one of the biggest issues is that I'm in Toronto. Which isn't going to get him a bunch of times. Well, like
Right.
New York, he's doing 3 dates.
Right.
So, but no, I first saw him with Simon and Garfunkel. I saw him so long ago that when I saw him with Simon and Garfunkel, they had the Everly Brothers. And the last time I saw him, there was only one Everly he brought out.
Wow.
Here's Everly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everly
it's a real
Brother.
shame.
It's
But,
Everly Brother.
yes. I've seen The Phantom of the Opera 10 times.
10?
Yeah.
I saw it multiple times, but not 10. Did you see this most recent version of it that was like the darker version?
The movie?
No.
With Gerard Butler where he just yells instead of sings?
No, I haven't seen it. It sounds great,
Oh,
though.
it's great.
No, Daniel and I saw it at South Coast Rep down in Orange County, and it was like I'm sure it was a touring production of
Yeah.
it, though. But it was darker, and it was more about horror and less about romance. And I was like, well, this kills it.
Well, let me purport this. This is my theory about Phantom of the Opera. My fan theory is that he can't be fuckable, or else it ruins.
Well,
the
then you
show.
would like this most recent one.
Yes, he's got to be like
I
Lon
like-
Chaney was
No.
old and creepy and weird, and
That's
that
the
is
most
the
recent-
struggle of him being so nice to her. Because otherwise, he's a magician, a musician, an architect, a composer, a gondolier, and it's like if he keeps the mask on, then tell him to keep it on, and I'll fuck him. He sounds like a catch. This Raoul guy sounds like an idiot.
He does, yeah.
When the Phantom's mildly attractive, the Phantom's weirder. It makes everything a lot better.
But should there be sexual tension between Christine and the Phantom?
Yes,
And
but
me?
it's
and
not.
me in a triangle.
It's not born out of physical attractiveness,
No.
which makes the story, interesting.
Right. Well, but even Michael Crawford,
Yeah.
the original hot Phantom, who without he's not an attractive, he's not super hot or anything. He's a silly guy.
And has a weird voice.
Yes.
Well, that's weird. That is all weird, but in the right way.
But as Phantom,
Yeah.
something very sensual about him.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
we
that's
agree.
the joy. I'm saying you
Yes.
start ugly.
Yeah.
You can't just be a hot guy.
No.
Because
right.
so's Raoul. And then what do we got? We got nothing.
Yeah. Right. So this most recent Phantom, though, they just made him very murderous, and it was just like a staging of a horror thing, which I know it has roots as horror, but anyway,
He
just
does
thought it just
always
didn't-
hang a guy, even in the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. He
I
hangs
know.
a guy.
I know, but I like to just let's not focus on that. You
Yeah.
know, that's just it happens. Things a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, this guy, someone might get hanged, but that's not his main thing. His main thing is appearing in her, armoire.
Yeah. Yeah. Great trick.
How does he do it?
Yeah.
But how does he do it? Because you and I actually talked about this at one
Oh,
point. Okay.
no. I've been on so many times. We were
No, this
repeating
was-
Phantom talking points.
This was offline. This was a DM conversation. We've both seen Love Never Dies, which was the sequel
Yes.
to Phantom.
Yes.
It is god-awful.
But
The
in a
music is great.
remarkable way.
Okay, but I actually, and I think this is where you and I are not on the same page. I like the music, and I listen to it. I choose to listen to it. Anyway, and this is a spoiler, I'm sorry. Christine and Raoul have a child now.
Yeah.
It turns out the Phantom is the child's actual...
Gustav.
Yeah. Gustav.
Yeah.
The child's actual father is the Phantom.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by because I thought the Phantom was like a phantom or something, some kind of supernatural creature. And you're like, no, I always thought he was a human guy. So then how does he appear in her mirror?
Because he lives in the underground of the opera house.
Or does he
lives
have the
beneath the
powers that the Ultimate Warrior had in WCW? That's only for
Mirrors.
RJ.
But he, he's an architect.
Is he actually an architect?
Yeah, so like my understanding is that he built a two-way mirror behind the armoire, like he lives behind the walls and shit. So I think it's a very logical explanation. I don't think there's any supernatural element to what he does at all.
Like you actually thought to yourself, he built a two-way mirror so he can appear in her
He
wardrobe.
takes her into the mirror, and then it goes to the gondola.
Right. And you're like, that's just a thing that a human guy...
Yeah. Look, he
human
had a lot of
guy
time
did.
on his hands.
What's his first name? Is it Eric?
Yes.
That's the thing that Eric, a.k.a. Phantom of the Opera...
Yeah.
It seems Eric.
Isn't that silly?
ERIK.
Oh, fancy.
So
now
that's the
this is
thing that Eric did,
Yeah.
as opposed to he's magic.
He's not magic.
Well,
He was an ugly kid. Wasn't he like a disfigured child? And
Yeah.
there's a couple origin stories, but that's the common one. It was part of a freak show.
okay.
They were doing a thing, and the woman helped him escape, and then he was hidden. She kept him away, like in the tunnels of the opera
Madame
house.
Giry?
Yes.
Madame Giry.
Now, since you spoiled Love Never Dies a little,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to spoil it a little more.
Please.
Gustav.
By the way, Love Never Dies, whereas Phantom of the Opera takes place in Paris, Love Never Dies takes place in Coney Island.
Right. Because, as we all assumed, the Phantom faked his own death and moved to New York to run a freak show. They find out that Gustav is the Phantom's son.
Right.
Because he plays piano good.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because Raoul, tin ear.
Right. He had that piano playing gene passed down.
Yes. Does the Phantom die at the end? I can't even remember.
No.
Or did they leave it open
You want
for
me to
Love
ruin
Never
the whole?
Dies
I think,
3?
but I can't recommend it enough out of how bad it is. Because if I sat with Tony and I said, let's write up a parody sequel to the Phantom,
Yes,
wouldn't even
that's
come
what it
close to this. You will be. I saw it in Detroit. That's how well it was doing. It's shocking.
How bad it is.
Truly
I know.
shocking.
Especially
And-
for someone who's seen Phantom like 10 times
Yeah.
like you have, and I think 5 times like I have. I like Facts of Life Go to Paris. I like all the ancillary things when it's something I love. It's so bad.
Yeah, and not even the so bad it's fun.
No, just okay. Again, I like the music. I will
Yeah.
listen to the music. I have the sheet music. I like it, but the story is like, how did this happen? That was my reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I would say, the most successful musical of all time with the same people involved, and the sequel could not make it to Broadway.
Yeah. Interesting.
Again, remarkable,
Yeah.
impressive
Where-
in how unsuccessful it is.
Where was Andrew Lloyd Webber at the time?
Well, he was doing it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
I don't know. He was trying to get, what's her name back? Sarah Brightman.
How? What's the gap between the original and the sequel? Like in
like
In
20
the
years or
universe?
something.
In the Phantomverse?
Not in universe, but like in reality of when they were made.
I want to
well,
say it's
like
20
how far
years.
apart were they?
Way more than that. I mean, the first Phantom
40?
Because that's
musical was like in the 70s, 80s?
Was it? Yeah, I think it was 80s, and then like, what is it, like 2015
We're looking at 30
or
years,
something?
maybe?
Yeah.
Because I just feel, at least with movies, so probably say like anytime it's that late after the original, they're almost never good.
No.
Yeah.
Like
But
very few exceptions.
remarkable that they thought this is worth pursuing.
Yeah.
Did I feel like we talked about this? Did this come up on the show? Not this specifically,
It might
but like
have.
sequels. Like
Well, we
way
were talking
after
about
that.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, right.
Beetlejuice,
Yeah, 'cause that
Beetlejuice.
fell in there. Yeah.
Yes.
And kind of along these lines. Flo and I recently. Yeah, the sequel was Beetlejuice.
It was,
Beetlejuice,
okay.
Yeah. We watched the Golden Palace recently. Familiar? Are you familiar?
No, I'm not.
This was it only lasted one season. When the Golden Girls ended,
Oh.
B. Arthur left, and then they moved to CBS, I think, and the characters buy a hotel and they take over, and then
rings a bell.
Don Cheadle is on it, as is Cheech Marin.
So all
And
of them
it's
except
so
B.
bad.
Arthur.
Yes, and it's because we enjoy some Golden Girls, but
Sure.
this show sucks.
Do you agree?
Oh my God, yes. I also don't know if the Golden Girls is that good.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%. But it's
Especially compared to Maude, which is
Right.
blows it out of the water in almost every way.
I think The Golden Girls is pretty solid.
Yeah, but the acting is really like
Okay.
I think it's solid. I think the echo of it has ruined it.
Did you appreciate another spinoff, Empty Nest, which I did?
So there was a backdoor pilot to Empty Nest that didn't go. It was Paul Dooley and Rita Moreno. You might have to look that up. And they were the next door neighbors originally.
Yeah.
And then they went, it's not that good.
No.
Then they changed it to what's his name?
Richard Mulligan,
Thank you.
Dinah Manoff, and Christy McNichol, and David Izuzu.
Wow.
No, David Leisure.
Yeah, David Leisure,
Yeah.
because he was
Charlie Izuzu or something.
not Charlie. It's
John
well,
Dick.
I think it was John Azuzu.
Okay,
I think
And there was a spinoff of that too.
of
Empty
Emptiness.
Nest?
Yeah. Might have to look
You were 100% right. Paul Dooley, Rita Moreno.
Thank you. There's few things I know in this world, but failed backdoor pilots is one of them. What's even stranger is that prior to Golden Girls, B. Arthur starred in a American remake of Faulty Towers
Oh,
called
with the W.
Amanda's.
Mandas?
Amanda's.
Oh,
And it was her, and I can't remember who else, but it didn't last that long at all. And I also think Betty White was part of one too. That was a very popular. I mean, we still do it now, obviously, like The Office and shit.
right.
But like, look at this. This is gonna make you just blow your mind.
For the Emptiness spinoff?
Yeah.
Nurses?
Oh, did it feature, what was her name, like Luann or something?
Give me a moment on that.
'Cause-
that
Wasn't that her name?
I think Estelle Getty appeared on Nurses.
Okay.
She appeared on Nurses and I think Empty Nest.
That makes sense. I bet it was that Luann character who worked in his office. I don't remember Nurses at all.
1991. 3 seasons.
Wow.
Mary Jo Keenan? I don't know any of these names. Arnisha Walker, Stephanie Hodge, Ada Maris,
Maybe
David
Stephanie
Rash.
Hodge was. I gotta look this up. It's important that
She was Nurse Sandy Miller.
Nurses. What show? What was it? NBC? Must have been NBC.
If it was an Empty Nest spinoff, probably, yeah. There was also a show called Nurses in 2020. But obviously
Well,
that's
they said this is a winning formula.
a Canadian
Okay,
show.
actually,
Wow.
I don't think any of these people were the one I'm thinking of. I don't remember them being on this show on Empty Nest at all. All right. So, RJ City,
Yes.
my weak intro of you.
Yeah. Awful. Terrible.
Talk show host, wrestler.
Yeah.
And are you a producer manager now?
I don't know what What do you mean by manager?
Isn't that like a wrestling?
Yeah, I'm
Character.
not a manager.
Okay.
I produce things. I've been known
What's
to
your
produce a few things.
So the last time you were on was a while ago, but you were doing Hey EW at the time.
I'm still doing it.
Yes. I don't know if you were doing as much. You weren't doing as much as you're doing now. You're like Mr. AEW now.
That's
You're the
a
king
great title.
of AEW.
Yeah, I wanna
what is
put
your
my
actual
face on it.
title?
I don't have one.
You don't?
I would say I've done everything there but wrestle.
Okay.
There.
Have you been a manager?
No.
Okay.
I haven't been a manager. Jeez. But yes. But I am also of this belief for the behind the scenes stuff. I don't like talking about it because I don't think it's good to talk about it. I don't think it's like the things I want to talk about is like what I put out there.
Okay.
I put out stuff every week. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. I feel like it's bad. I don't care how hard it was to make your fucking TV show. Your TV show is either good or not. And how much you slaved over it is not going to sway me.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Sometimes
I do.
would hear like a director talk about a movie, and I'm like, the way you talk about it, I don't want to fucking see it.
I normally feel that way 100%. However, do you watch Severance?
No.
Do you know about it?
Yeah. I'm still finishing Caroline in the City.
Well, okay.
We've finally been. We got one more, and then I think Friday's the last one, but I think
there's 2 more. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, so we're almost caught up.
Okay. Have you listened to the Ben Stiller, Adam Scott Severance podcast? Normally, I'm with you, RJ. I don't want to hear all the behind the scenes stuff. However, I'm so into this show that I am really enjoying the Ben Stiller, Adam Scott podcast.
Yeah, I love behind the scenes stuff if it's a thing I like.
Yes, I guess so. I don't know. There's something about it.
It doesn't need to sway me, like he's saying.
Like just hearing sort of how they set up different shots and what their debates were and like funny things that happen. I don't know. It's pretty good.
But I would like to hear that removed from the final product.
So just like a random project.
A podcast, let's say, now. I would be more inclined to listen to than like while Lost is out.
Right.
You know? I just think it's very like American Idol, like, you know, like my singing because my dad died. I don't care
it's your
about
point of view.
Right, but like you're making a product.
Right.
I will either like it or I don't like it.
So wait, when you said, do you get what I'm saying? And I said, maybe. It's because I'm trying to understand how this relates to you, though.
Working behind the scenes.
Oh, you're saying you don't want to talk about your work behind the scenes.
Yeah, I also feel like ultimately there's not that much to say compared to like we're putting out the work. The work is publicly there.
And do you feel like if you talk, I mean, let me change that question. Yes. I could imagine a universe in which you work with a wrestling company, and if people were to talk about the construction of storylines or the existence of storylines as such, you might feel that takes away from the appreciation of the product.
Yes. Yeah, well, it's very much like explaining a magic trick.
Right.
It's either you like it or you don't.
Well, now is this I was immersed in the wrestling world for a bit. So I haven't been as much.
Then you fell out.
I fell out, yeah. No, you know what? It fell out of me.
Just most people just age out of it.
Oh, God. I aged out.
Yeah. Usually by 14.
Yeah, that's about what I did.
I went through all of it late. So it's been a little while since I've used these terms.
Right.
But are you trying to maintain kayfabe?
Yes and no. To a certain extent, yes. But I'm also not pretending it's not a show.
Right.
But I also feel like that's like the most boring part.
I don't think so.
I mean, I understand having genuine curiosity and whatever. I'm just telling you it's the most boring part. Like, don't you feel like when you put out a song, you would rather them just listen to the fucking song? Instead of like, oh, by that, I have a story about this song. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I guess, just depends.
You wouldn't want to hear Paul Simon on my podcast?
I would. Just because he uses weird words.
Oh, I love someone who uses weird words.
But I don't give a shit about why he wrote that song.
You don't?
Not really.
Not really. Interesting.
Sometimes I'm interested in like process and whatever, but other times like I would like to be removed from the thing and already decided I've enjoyed the thing and that it's done. I hate when it's an ongoing thing. I feel like there's a culture of explaining things as they're happening and I don't like it.
Well, some of that I feel like is just to create content. Like this is popular.
All of it is to create content.
Yes. I don't know if it started that way though. Maybe some of it started to greater understand a certain thing. I must go back to this for 1 second. Then we're going back to wrestling. But where do you come down on Wicked as a musical theater aficionado?
The movie or the
both?
My mother was not a fan of the musical. She was a big fan of The Wizard of Oz and did not like how it connected to the film or didn't connect to the film. I find that the movie looks bizarre, looks incredibly dull for what that story is.
You're talking about the visuals. Okay, it is funny you say that because last night Daniel has been beating this drum that the movie is like it doesn't have enough contrast or it's like desaturated or something, which I did not notice that.
I also don't think it's exclusive to Wicked. I think it's a very modern thing, but you
Yes.
notice it with Wicked because it's typically vibrant,
Right.
that world.
I still found it. Have you seen it, Tony?
I
thought it
haven't,
was
but even
vibrant.
from the like clips I've seen, I feel like I know what you're referring to. Though.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't have that reaction, but anyway.
I also think it's wild that it got nominated for Best Picture. I mean, what are we doing? Really?
I mean,
And
it's a tour de force.
how can you nominate that and like we haven't nominated like a comedy in like 30 years? Like it was just something insane, but they used to be nominated and win a lot.
Did you see it though?
Yes.
And okay.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I see why people like it. I'm not even saying it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things where I go, oh, I'm sure that's a good movie, and I have no interest in seeing it.
All right.
You know?
So you saw it and you just feel lukewarm about it.
Yeah, I felt how I felt about it before seeing it did not change.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I was never super into it ever. I guess I did see it, but I don't remember. That's how much it didn't make an impression on me. We had seats that are pretty far back,
Yeah.
and if I'm not close enough, I just get really distracted, and then
Right.
I have trouble paying attention. I have to feel like I'm on stage. So, but then I went and saw the movie, and it had been so hyped. And for me, it did live up to it. And I did think it was really good. And now I've been listening to the soundtrack like all the time. I have Wicked fever. And then Daniel made this comment about it looking washed out.
And rightly so.
And
And
I
good for
don't-
him for standing
yeah.
up to you like that.
Because my thing is, did you guys watch Ozark?
No.
No.
Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah.
It's so green blue. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. I can't stand it. However, the most recent episode of Severance, which you don't watch because you're watching Caroline in the City.
Correct.
Tony has not seen it yet. Is very green blue. And I was saying to Daniel, I'm surprised I was able to enjoy it given how green blue it is. And then Daniel's like, yes, but it had a lot of contrast. The thing about Ozark is it didn't have a lot of contrast. It was green blue, but it was like hard to see.
Yeah.
Which is right. It looked like an old like black and white TV or something. And then this went into this nonstop talk of how bad Wicked looked, which I don't agree with.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know
You
what
still have Wicked fever after all this time?
I listened to it in the shower today. But I thought, at first I thought, what else can I listen to? And then I just like, oh, fuck it, I'll just listen to Wicked.
It's waning.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, it's been nonstop.
Right.
Been nonstop. So, okay, back to wrestling.
Yeah.
Tell me about Meal in a Movie. Meal in a Match is what I meant to say.
You're good with the plugs.
Well, that's what I always say.
Meal in a Match is Renee Paquette and I willed it into existence. It's taken us years to do.
Because you're a dinner and a movie fan.
A dinner and a movie fan, and we had the idea to do this Meal in a Match before they rebooted Dinner and a Movie. So, hey, go
Oh, that's
fuck
right.
yourself, Jason Biggs. And it's on the TBS YouTube. So it's her and I, and we sit with a wrestler, and we eat, and we watch an old match, and we do commentary over it, and we interview them. And it's been delightful. We've done like 5 episodes so far. I would assume we would do more at some juncture. They built a set for it.
Yeah, where's
They built a
this
night
set?
wrestling bar in the Food Network building
Ooh, neat.
in New York.
That's in, what's it called? It's in Chelsea, right?
Yes.
It's a cool little area.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on the name.
it's
Chelsea
nice.
Market,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How cool.
And they built a little wrestling bar, and they did such a nice job. And we're like, well, now we have to do more
Yeah.
because you've built a set. So it's great. I enjoy it.
What kind of matches do you watch? Are these famous ones?
Well, AEW matches from the past. Yes, some are famous, some are not. Deep cuts. Some are relevant to the person, some are not.
Do you watch multiples or
Just one
Okay.
with that person.
Got it.
Because there's an interview, there's a lot of talking, and then the eating.
right? And how does the eating on camera go?
Not so well.
Explain.
We did 3 or 4 episodes in a day.
Oh, so you had to eat a lot.
And but you're psyched out because you're like, I got to eat a lot today. I'm not gonna eat otherwise. So then you eat. The first thing we ate was Darby Allen bought us gas station sushi. He found the worst rated sushi he could find because
Wow.
he's a nut.
You mentioned sushi, but you didn't mention that it was gas station sushi.
Twice we had sushi. We had high end sushi.
Oh,
We
okay.
had low end sushi. And my body's like, hey, is this breakfast? Like, are we making this a meal? It's also hard eating like on camera while talking. So you're taking little bites,
Right.
but then over a long period of time, that's a lot of food. I mean, we went gas station sushi, chicken pot pie and then high-end sushi, which is just
In one day?
one day.
So much sushi.
And then you still want to eat after, but you also don't because it's
Right.
disgusting.
Right.
So I don't think people understand the sacrifices we make.
It's
and
so
I wanted to
hard.
get the story out there.
Yeah.
So when they're watching
so that they
this,
see how hard it was.
Look at
Shit,
you
it
sharing the behind the
right?
scenes.
yeah. I just ultimately hope people feel bad for me when they watch.
Are you self-conscious eating
Yes.
on camera?
Yes, I'm very self-conscious eating on camera, and how the bites I'm taking and how
And like,
I'm chewing.
what if you get like a piece of seaweed stuck between your front teeth?
Yes. Also, what I'm doing with my fork and how I look eating on camera.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
That process, because I also not only do I do the fork, but then I have to like hold it and make points and listen to other people.
Oh, you got to punctuate with the fork?
Yeah, I don't like watching myself. Period. I don't like watching myself eat.
Have you eaten in front of a mirror to see what it looks like?
No. No. No.
I mean, when I was choosing outfits that I would wear when I would go on television, I would often sit in front of a mirror to see how it looks when I'm sitting versus standing. So I could imagine, like, how do I look eating? I would want to see.
Yeah. But I also am not going to like it, period.
Okay.
You know? So hopefully everyone else likes it.
Are there any rules around the kind? Like, would you guys have pasta or soup
Yeah,
or
we can
something?
have whatever. It's the guest chooses the food.
Okay.
So we leave it up to them.
Who chose pot pie?
Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big fan of Wegmans pot pie. So
Coast.
there was
Wegmans is a grocery store, yes?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a chicken pot pie and a vegan one, and they gave me a mystery meat one. They like to joke around with me. I'm a
What
big
kind?
punchline for a lot of stuff.
What was it?
It was like kidney.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't need an organ in my mouth. I don't. But I dealt with it. You can probably watch me eat around stuff in the
Have you
episodes.
had kidney before?
I don't think so.
Now you have.
I will say this. I would have eaten it and been like, that was great if I had not known it was kidney.
I feel like that's the way with a lot of
Yeah.
mystery meats. In preschool, different parents would bring different things for, I guess we called it nutrition. And then it was like, are you in the clean plate club? And someone brought gizzard. And I remember liking it, but every day since I've thought, I mean, not when I was 3 or whatever, but anytime I realized that gizzard is not a popular meat, like, why did they do that? Why did I eat gizzard at preschool?
Right.
It was tasty though.
Yeah, I think I talked about it on here. That in Japan, once it was handed what I just thought was beef, and I ate it, and I was like, "This is like the tastiest meat I've ever had," and it was tongue.
Oh yes, I know. Greg Heller. I know many people who like tongue. I've never had tongue. Have you had tongue?
No.
Yeah.
No.
They also eat horse meat in Japan.
I've not had that or nor witnessed it.
We saw it on a menu,
Wow.
but didn't order it. But I don't know. It's one of the. I've talked about this at length, I'm sure, but it's like, it's very cultural.
Yeah.
To us, it's normal to eat XYZ, and it's weird to eat horse. And I get that.
We also
people-
eat bad, horrible, dumb shit here all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's the baddest, dumbest shit that we eat?
Baddest, dumbest shit?
That we eat.
I think the fact that we can make a potato chip that tastes like a cheeseburger tells me that there's a problem with the North American cheeseburger.
That it can be
I don't think
recapitulated in flavor powder.
The crossing flavors world is it's just we're playing God.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. But is it about how I'm holding the mic?
No, it's about body hair.
Okay.
Have you okay? Because I know that you shave your body. Yes.
Yes.
Have you considered laser hair removal?
It's a lot of hair and a lot of area. And anything that I've done resembling like waxing and stuff is difficult because like, I don't know, if a woman waxes, they can just sort of stay off of it for a while. But it's like my whole body, gets very sensitive.
But laser hair removal, I don't think.
It's going to cost a lot. And you
Yeah.
gotta keep going back and I got to
I mean,
I don't want to talk to a doctor about this.
yeah. I mean, I ended up buying this. I think it's Braun Silk Touch or something. It's a home one because I was going to do laser hair removal, and then I'm like, or maybe I don't have to drive to Glendale 16 separate times
Right.
and spend all this money. I'm just going to try this, and it actually worked really well. So
Anyone who has gotten laser hair has always said to me, well, you just have to make sure you keep going. And any activity that requires that, I'm out.
right. Yeah. This one, I did it. You do it like once or twice a week for like 8 weeks, I think. And then there is some maintenance, and I haven't stayed up on that. So there's the hair.
can tell.
I'm actually twiddling my beard right now. No, the hair has come back a little bit, but it's like very fine. So I don't know. But if you're committed to shaving your entire body,
Yeah. It's a good time.
like how long do your
used to it.
showers take
You do it in sections.
based on the
Let's
shower?
say if I'm shaving my legs, Monday I'll do knee down, Tuesday I'll do knee up. So at no point is my
Are you ever
entire
hairless?
body at the same right. Yeah.
And are you shaving up like a lady would, or are you shaving down?
But I mean legs are a journey.
So
They
how
go
do you do
every
it?
direction. I mean saying it changes up, down,
Okay.
and yeah.
And what are you shaving with? Right, no, but what's your lubricant?
Oh, a little conditioner I find helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have read that you can shave with conditioner
Mm-hmm.
in women's magazines my whole life. I vastly prefer shaving with shampoo if I have to shave with something other than like a shaving cream or soap doesn't work very well.
No. Often in hotels, I will, you have like a travel
Sure.
shaving cream and you run out. So I will shave my face
With
with conditioner. Yeah.
I find the conditioner gets in the way of a close shave. I find shampoo works so much better.
I'm going to try it. I'll let you know.
Try it.
Yeah.
But if it's working for you with
I
conditioner,
don't know if it's working. I don't know if
Then-
anything is working for me.
okay.
You know?
Tony, you have a beard, so I guess back when you're not bearding, what are you shaving with?
Well, if I'm just shaving my face, just shaving cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Right.
So you may not know this. I don't know why you would know. I think I've made a little bit of noise about it online, but and I've definitely talked about it on my podcast. In the course of cleaning
Don't
out
get
my parents'
political
house,
again, please.
I'm not.
Please.
In the course of cleaning out my parents' house,
Yes.
we came across what would be the worst thing you could find of your parents?
Can you describe to me how it made you feel?
Like I want to die.
I would say some sort of a personal pleasure device.
That I found 2 personal pleasure devices and a gun.
And in the same
Whoa,
drawer?
yes.
That's
And apparently
incredible.
there's another gun, and we found the cleaning kit for it and the brochure, but we haven't found the actual gun. And it makes me a little bit nervous going through stuff, knowing like I'm going to come across a firearm.
Yeah.
God willing. The other one was not loaded, so hopefully
Are you talking about the pleasure device or the gun?
hopefully the gun won't be loaded I hope we find it. But anyway, yeah, coming across 2 vibrators, one of them plugged in and one of them was much more recent
Yeah.
seeming. But so that was a few trips ago, and wow, have not lived
And they
that one
died
down.
at what ages?
My dad was 89 and my mom was 75.
Good to know. Because sometimes I masturbate and I go, how much longer am I going to do this for?
I think till the end.
Yeah.
That's how it
I
seems.
guess. When is
Yeah.
this disgusting activity going to end?
I mean, I wonder, is this evidence of a healthy sex life, or is this evidence of my mom still enjoying her time with herself?
Wasn't that a healthy sex life?
You know what? Thank you for correcting me.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, cut that out. You made me look insensitive.
So when I after prom, we went to my friend's cottage.
Yes. And was this in cottage country?
Yes, this cottage country, which is like beach houses,
Right.
but the Canadian version, so you can't see your feet in the water. This is just murk.
Right. I think you told me the story, but I want to hear it.
Oh no, I've said it. I can't
Kleenex
say
box?
it on the thing. Yeah.
No, please share it.
Well, we got there early, and I was rummaging around the house, which was awful of me. And the father had a guest bedroom, and all the drawers contained different sexual materials. One of them was a dildo, but like tastefully shaped. Wasn't anatomically correct.
Okay,
It looked like a wand.
Yes, sure.
But anyway, it was something to have fun with. So we, people would get drunk and pass out and put it in their mouth and take a picture, that whole deal. And
okay.
then we took it to play more pranks at school. And then the father told his daughter that her friends are not allowed at the cottage anymore because, quote, someone took something.
Amazing. But all the different drawers had different sex items in
Yeah,
them?
they had like erotic playing cards and then like porn VHSs and like really like classically erotic stuff.
Right.
It's like I walked into Spencer's.
That's what it sounds like. Who used them normally?
I would assume he was having sex
parties?
cottage sex parties. He must have swung.
Was he single?
He was a good-looking guy. Him and his brother were twins, and they were bodybuilders. Something was going
Oh,
on.
wow.
Yeah.
So wait, but did he have a wife or a husband or anything?
I don't think he had a wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and I think
Lots
they
of
were.
different
I think they were
ladies.
swinging. I think they were keys in the bowl kind of people.
that's what it's sounding like. Hey, this was your friend's father? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I wasn't even that friendly with her.
She's not the one you went to prom with.
No, no, she was not. God no, I wouldn't want that burden.
Was the one you went to prom with the one that later? Wait a minute.
What do
This
you
might
know
not
about
be
my life?
This might not be an on-air discussion. No, I think it is.
Write it down. What?
No,
that
it
later
is.
what?
Let you know that you had lunch with her or something, and she cut this out if I'm not supposed to know it on air. But didn't she and you're like, what does your husband think of that? Didn't she say that we should have been together?
Oh, okay. So
You told this on air,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, no, the woman I went to prom with was just a friend that, and we both agreed we would look good in the pictures. We had no one to go with. We're both tall, and we thought, okay, this is fine. Wonderful person. There was no romance or
Got it.
anything. What? The husband said we should be together?
No,
So I caught up with a friend. I'm trying
an
to remember the
old
story.
girlfriend,
Yes.
and she was like, why didn't we end up together? Something like that.
Ah. I
Is
don't
this not
remember
ringing a
I don't
bell?
remember that.
You're
I
not
mean, there's something
remembering-
that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Something you ran into an old girlfriend, or she got in touch with you,
Yeah.
and said maybe had she dumped you? I don't know. Why didn't we end up together? But now she's married or something.
Yeah. So I think one of my first girlfriends
Yes.
got back together with the person she was dating in high school,
Okay.
and they got married and had kids, and they're happy. And
Didn't
I'm
you-
still the same?
meet up with someone who's like, why weren't we together? And then you're like,
Might have been a friend.
oh,
And they might have
maybe.
been like,
yes,
why
and you
we
had,
ever
but,
do any
but you
stuff?
had
I'm
feelings
like,
for
I
her.
don't fucking know.
Did you have feelings for her?
Yeah, maybe.
I think,
it was
and it's
high
like-
school. I had feelings for everybody.
Well, I'm glad I brought up this story.
Yeah. This is good.
Any updates on that one? That you don't remember?
No, I don't think so. Did I ever tell you when I went back to my high school? This was a
Beautiful
weird...
boy?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
did talk about. Oh my God! Do you have a list of stuff I've talked about to make sure I haven't talked?
You
about
found
it
out
again?
that the librarian.
called me beautiful boy while I
Yes.
went to that school, which is so bizarre.
It's a compliment, though.
It's
It's
a
just
compliment.
weird.
Yeah, it's better than calling me ugly child.
Right.
Yeah, or the devil's child, which was what the Phantom was called when he was a kid in the Freak
Okay.
Show.
I
Yeah.
I thought there was. Now, we found that out in Phantom of the Opera or in Love Never Dies?
Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
She's just singing it, so it's hard to understand.
Oh, there you go. I feel like there was something I was saying before all this, though. Oh, yeah. The things I found at my parents', right?
Yes.
So, right. Yes. And my question is, what I'm saying is this a sign together they were still getting busy, or is this, I don't really need to know. I really don't want to know.
Many ways to use it.
So, another thing we found though is and this is not anything, but every time I opened up the little case, I'm like, oh God, what is this? Oh God, what is this? My dad had I swear 40 electric razors. I'm exaggerating. He had so many electric razors. The man needed to use a disposable razor, but all he used was electric razors, and he had so many of them. It's apparently if you use one, you got to have a lot of them. I don't know. Or he just
I don't
never
know about
threw them
that.
out.
Yeah, sounds like your mom and your dad didn't like throwing things out.
Together they kept everything, I guess.
They hoarded their love.
I mean, in a way, yes. In that they didn't share it or show it. So, yes. they
just
kind
kept
of did.
it in a drawer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this raises the question, how does one dispose of embarrassing items so their kids don't find them? And I think there's just no answer.
Well, you're dead. What do you care? Do you think they would have let you go through the house if they were still alive?
I mean,
If you were going through all their shit the way you did,
no.
no, they wouldn't let you.
No.
Because they knew. So they're
Right.
dead. That's the joy of death. That's the freedom of death.
Joy of
I don't
death.
care what you find in my drawer. I'm dead.
Right, but do you want to do that to your kids? You want to make your kids go, ew,
Yes, because one day they will go through the same thing.
and they'll be dead.
Yeah. I always think about when you're talking about this stuff and you're joking about stuff, or I joke about my grandparents dying. I think, would I want someone to joke about me this way when I'm dead? And my conclusion is always, you're dead. What do you care? Just butt the fuck out. It's not about you.
Yeah, you're right.
Who gives a shit? Go die already.
Go die already.
Yeah.
Guess so. Have you thought about do you have a will or
I don't
any
know.
of
I
that
don't really have
stuff?
assets.
I know,
I have
but still.
piles of jokes. I have my tweets. I have my drafts.
You probably have cards, boxes of your cards. And
Box of my
stuff.
I really don't like having my own memorabilia at home.
Okay.
I enjoy collecting. I have a Bob Eubanks autograph. And that I'm holding on to. But I have action figures of myself, and I'm like, I'll give them to whoever. They're not special to me because they're me. I don't, I'm just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Have you
About dying?
Prepared? Are your assets in order? Is your stuff in order?
No, but I don't think there's anything that needs ordering, quite frankly.
You don't have kids, so
I don't have
I'll give
kids.
you that. And you're not married.
My parents are alive.
Yeah.
So anything I assume would go to them, really.
Right.
Until they die.
Yeah.
I think you got to organize that.
I guess.
But I'm really looking forward to not leaving a trace. This whole
You're gonna take it
legacy
with
thing
you?
is bizarre, especially in wrestling. Ugh,
Explain what
it's
you mean.
all they fucking talk about. It's legacy. I mean, everybody comes out of retirement and what's my legacy and the history and the fun. I was like, this stuff feels gross to me sometimes.
Why?
A lot of it is fake.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, legacies are a very fabricated thing. They'll be remembered as this, or they did this historical whatever. A lot of it, half my life, and I think Tony has gone through this too, has been having heroes, and then you get older and you have to unlearn that those people are heroes. So stuff like that. Any idea of heroism feels uncomfortable to you.
Is this the Behind the Ring? Is that the name of that documentary?
Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or just maybe working with them or talking to them, and they're
okay.
slightly rude, and you're like, meh,
Yeah.
or anything you were told about, what it means to be respected. And you're like, that's not true.
Right.
Just don't be a pain in the ass and have a good time. I think that's basically it. So, yeah, I would enjoy not having a legacy. I would enjoy being forgotten. I think there's a freedom to that. Because I think worrying about being remembered feels like such a game. It fills me with panic and dread,
Okay. So you don't want people to be finding Hey EWs and Meal and a Matches when you're gone?
I think that's nice, but I'm not necessarily worried about it.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm leaving this for when I'm gone, because there's also a bunch of shit out there I don't like people seeing.
Like what?
I don't like my older stuff or stuff that's not funny or any, nothing atrocious.
Right.
But there's just as much bad work as there is good and okay work.
Would you rather be
Like his songs.
right? They're
Seriously, of all the songs you guys have done, what do you think your ratio is of that's a great song? Do you look back and go, that's great?
Well, there's definitely ones that I like. I don't know if I use the word great.
Yeah, but is there any forever? What do you think? 100 songs? Would that be fair to say? Hundreds of songs?
That's too high. Yeah, I couldn't even guess. A good. I'd say I like. I'll just say this. I like more of them than I don't like.
Right.
But there's definitely plenty that I'm not thrilled about.
Don't you also feel, and maybe this is true with your podcast,
everyone is a work of art.
it keeps you going because they're not good? If you wrote the perfect song, you'd probably stop.
Right.
Actually, I think there's I'm thinking while I'm thinking out loud. There's a couple different ways of approaching creation and art. When I do a podcast episode, I'm never trying to do the perfect episode. It just happens that I put it out. But it's not my goal, versus I think these very produced podcast episodes where I think maybe they are trying to put out the perfect episode or the perfect
Too many
series
things
or
are
something.
overly produced these days.
Yeah.
Not just in all entertainment.
Hence, I do something that's underproduced. No offense, Tony. You know what I'm saying. It's a style. So I just think of it as like, this is
Podcast verite.
this is the thing that I do every week.
Yeah.
And I never really think of it as like making it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder where you guys are with like making songs. If it's just like, yeah, we make songs. I mean, obviously you try to like make each one as good as you can.
Yeah, we just try to write stuff that we like. And, I was just in Chicago working on new stuff, and we are like a democracy with it though too, because like there was one song where there's something I had an issue with in one song.
The racism.
Yeah. And I was overruled. So, and it just kind of comes to that.
Was it like there was a part of the song you didn't like a bridge?
Yeah, it was just something that they wanted me to do a certain thing that I didn't like. And I was just like, I don't really like that, and it just came down to like 4 against 1. So I had to just deal with it, But it's the thing is like it's only one little spot in the song, so it's like I can live with it,
right?
Yeah,
but I think it is a good tap solo.
I love it. Who's that band who tapped instead of had a drummer?
You're thinking of Gregory Hines.
Yes, I'm thinking of
familiar.
Sabian Glover. It's like Tilly in the Wall. Yeah. Now, how do you approach your Hey EW episodes? Because I'm assuming your underwear and coffee
is freewheeling.
Yeah, that's
underwear
just like
coffee,
that's something you do every week.
Yes, that's my this.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed a lot when I started doing Hey, because Hey always has guests. So Coffee and Underwear used to have guests sometimes, and then it stopped because Hey had guests, and it's more, just a little freewheeling hello thing. I love saying hello. But no, Hey, I mean, the research is real.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of research. I think a disgusting amount for who my guests are. And then, I have things I want to do, and then I overwrite. I write way too much, and then I have to cut it down to a point where I'm ultimately not happy. You wish you could have everything. In a dream world, I could do every joke I ever wanted to do, and we can film it 1 to 3 times, and then we could put together the best of everything.
You just film it once, right?
Just once, and that's it. Right. Everything you're seeing is in real time, and I would say 90% of the time they have no idea what is going to be asked, nor do they want to know, and their answers, and which is the joy of it, I guess.
Has it become more? How long have you been doing Hey EW?
3 years this week.
God.
And we've done 134 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Has it become challenging at all, or how has the show been affected by the fact that now people do know a little more what they're stepping into?
They don't, because I keep that part changing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't say they think they know what they're walking into, but I don't think they ever do. Mm-hmm. And I change it. I think the show's change. I don't like, no 2 episodes are necessarily the same.
Right.
Sometimes we just talk about random stuff, and sometimes they get into like really serious whatever, and I don't want to stop it if they're going there. I mean, that's fine. And that's the other thing, is that they're welcome to answer it however they want. So if I'm not forcing them, they're happy to do whatever. I don't know if they're going to come on and like play up stuff on TV or not, or talk about how they have a wife and kids at home. I have no idea, which is nice to figure it out in real time.
Right.
I also have found that when you do real research on people, it's very, they back off you a lot. Because I've made it clear that I know about all their shit. And then they're really like, but I think they also give you a little more leeway because they somehow respect that I looked up their shit.
You know what's funny is when I do actual research on people.
Not on this episode.
Well, I've researched you enough in the past. So, come on. I know that you had something involving someone from your past. That's some deep research.
And they said, why weren't we together? Yeah, it was a good one.
That's right. I could find it.
Okay, thank you.
I think you showed me a text.
I would love to know what episode this is.
I'll find it.
Okay.
So, you guys talk amongst yourselves and I'll find it later. But when I let someone know that I've done research, as an interviewer, I always expect them to be like, wow, or like in some way it makes them feel better. However, when I've been interviewed and the person like refers to something I said in an article or this or that, it actually makes me uncomfortable. maybe that's what you mean. They back off because they're uncomfortable now because they don't
Sure.
know. They know that like you have their dossier in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. There's less fucking with me when they know things.
Right.
When they know that I know things.
Yeah.
I've seen quotes of myself and I've been appalled.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who was it? Oh, you were interviewed in something, and did they they gave you a lot of exclamation points, and you felt that you weren't actually exclamatory?
Yeah, I did one.
About
I was in
Danhausen.
university about Dan. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, they just add exclamation marks and they're like the sarcasm is gone.
Yeah.
Any of it's gone. It just
Right.
bothers me. Yeah. No, I don't like my. I mean, if I write you an answer, I would like to see it written.
Right.
But if you're talking to me, it doesn't. Writing it down doesn't make any sense. You know.
You were about to say something else, though, and I.
Oh,
took you
I
in
did an
another
interview
direction.
once. People couldn't understand, the interviewer could not understand how independent wrestling worked. And I said it's like stand-up comedy where like you have an act and you get yourself booked at different places. And then the quote was just wrestling's like stand-up comedy. No, I was like, all right,
There you go.
thank you.
There it is. I have spent my life. Well, you, as someone who has, and it sounds like what I'm going to say is
Wow.
like really heady, right?
Yeah.
I've spent my life fighting for the underdog. No,
What?
I'm just kidding. I was just trying to think of something even more heady to say,
Yeah.
grandiose. You've done print journalism as well, or you've done writing as well. I feel like I always defend reporters and defend journalists. However, having watched things get taken out of context and blown up. So like when I was on the Adam Carolla show, he said that women aren't funny, which is a thing he said all the time. That was like a common bit that he would do.
But you would say it was a joke?
It wasn't a joke, but it wasn't as flat as women aren't funny. It was like women aren't typically. I'm not doing it justice, nor is it a bit that should be done justice. But it was like he was frustrated by being in writers' rooms, and they would feel the need to like add a couple women writers who weren't funny.
Right.
That being said, he would concede that Sarah Silverman is funnier than most men. There are funny women, but it was
Right.
like women aren't funny was part of a much bigger thing.
Right.
And then he was interviewed by someone, and he said he did the thing, and they just took women aren't funny and went running with it. And it definitely had like harmed him for a bit. I remember they were hoping this is just 24-hour news cycle. This will be over by tomorrow. And it was just like lighting up. I'm hesitant to even weigh in on this now, but are you aware of the Gavin Newsom stuff? The shit he's getting right now.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
he gets the right amount of shit for anyone who has a podcast.
Yes, but he had Charlie Kirk on, and
Yeah.
they were talking about trans athletes.
Yeah.
And I hesitate to weigh in on this because I'm not well enough informed. I think I would need to listen to the whole thing or read the whole thing. My sense is they took the most damning sentence and blew it up.
Sure. But yeah, of course.
But I don't. Were you going to say
You think
what?
they're going to
That's-
take something more mild and blow it up?
Well, you can't blow up something more mild.
But that's what the medium dictates. It's
I
like a
guess.
headline based.
Yeah, I know, but that I can't. That's to me kind of indefensible.
I also
I
know
can't defend that.
a lot of wrestlers, retired wrestlers, who get into the podcast business and they have to crank out weekly episodes about wrestling. And the easiest thing to do is shit on everything that's there.
Yeah,
It's very easy to shit on stuff in a very shallow way. Some of the criticism is so fair, and I enjoy it and listen to it. Very good point. But the other ones, I go, hey, my sympathies are with you. You do have to come up with an episode every week.
yeah.
I get it. It's fine. All right. Okay. What's the big deal? Sometimes I will do. I always make fun of the Undertaker because I'm a believer in punching up, and he's the most up guy. This legend, legacy, all this shit. But also, like, a guy who deserves to be made fun of. I love doing it. There's a lot there. It's fun for me. No one really does it. And then I do it, and people seem to enjoy it. And I'm like, am I the only one making fun of him? This is weird. He's weird. He's a weird dead person. That's fun. This is all this stuff there. So I've been making fun of him for years in various ways. And then I was on somebody's podcast and like offhand, I said he was weird. And whether it was the timing of like me, of where I am right now, or that podcast and whatever. And it was like, that was the headline. And then like it turned into, I wouldn't say a big deal.
Right.
But enough people were like upset or angry over it on Twitter that I wanted to go like, guys, like, no, I've said worse things about him before this.
Yeah.
Go back and find the old
Right.
stuff. It's good. I did a whole bit. This wasn't even a bit. But they take the, you know, the easiest to digest.
Right. I guess I have, in the past, when someone doesn't want to be interviewed, it's like I took that so personally. But now I almost see like, yeah, it is safer to not give interviews if people are
Sure.
going to be shitty with it.
Yes.
Which they are.
And I also, I mean, I would also say it's a skill to be interviewed. That which people don't really, like, we've made this too easy.
Yeah.
You know? People just say shit. They just think they can say shit. And it's like, it's more than that.
Right.
You know? Especially wrestlers. I mean, wrestlers kind of go on podcasts and get in trouble all the time by saying stuff that is good-natured, but then they just, you know, whether it's fake or real and people don't understand, or it's like, are you saying this about this person on purpose? Or
Do you have situations where people come on Hey EW and you hear them say something and you're like, oh,
I always
protect them?
say to them, like, I don't know if I protect them, but I say, you know, like, if anything you don't want in there that we do, let's cut it out. But I would rather do it first and then we can see. Some stuff, like another thing was like one person we had on was just like, I don't want any questions about my faith. They were very religious. And I said, okay, let me show you the questions first. And then they went, oh, okay, this is good.
Were there questions about their faith in there?
Yeah. Because I went to Catholic school. I think I have good questions about religion that are not necessarily
Religious.
derogatory.
Right.
Yeah. Like, who put out the burning bush? I think it's a fair question. Did it just shut off like a light? You know, what are we
Right.
doing here?
Yeah.
Or when Jesus flipped the table. That was nuts. I talk about that all the time. That one time he was angry, and those
The moneylenders.
apostles must have been like, remember that time Jesus fucking just freaked out?
It's like a
What
Real
was
Housewives
that.
moment. Yeah.
He's been calm for 30 years and he just loses it. But there's other things that I think are going to be like controversial and woo, and we're going to get into this, and we do them, and then they're just not that funny.
Right.
And then I'm just like, well, this can go because this doesn't go anywhere.
Why was he so mad? Was it because it was
They
Sunday?
were selling things in the church. It was den of. I will not have the house of the Lord turned into a den of thieves.
So it's because it was a location-based issue.
Yeah. And
So if they had been doing this like 2 blocks down the street,
yeah,
he would
I think
have been
they
fine.
might have also been stolen goods. I think they were bootleggers. They were selling Oakley sunglasses like in Battery Park,
Got
but in
it.
a church.
Right.
And then he flipped it. But then I also go logistically.
Who cleaned up?
Who cleaned up?
I know.
Because now I would be like, now my church is a mess.
Yeah.
You gonna clean this up,
Right.
Mr.
Who's
Mr.
the
Apology?
asshole now?
Yeah. Mr. I absolve you. Are you
Yeah.
gonna come, get a broom? Awful. But I mean, just really, and you talk to religious people and they go, that's righteous anger. Now, really?
Yeah.
It sounded like a lot.
I have been spending way more time than any human being should at banks lately because as part of the estate
Yeah.
process, you got to do all this stuff. And my mom, in the same way she had 1 million bags of clothes with the tags on them, she had 1 million accounts everywhere.
great.
I think what she did was,
This is her legacy. Dildos and bank accounts.
Yes. So there's some of them, like there's one that has like $2.07 in it. I'm not doing shit
Sure.
with it. You can have it, Wells Fargo. But I think
You're going to not be able to vote 3 years from now because you didn't close that account. It's going to
Yeah,
cause some weird
I know
shit.
something's gonna happen. My mom's soul won't go to heaven because she has to just to close her account. I think she would like go for the there'd be like a promotional rate, and I think she would open an account for that, and then when it so I think that's why there's all these like artifacts of accounts. But anyway, Citibank, and I've talked about this in my Instagram stories. I have done my banking at Citibank for 1 million years. It never even occurred to I don't know why I have loyalty. I don't really. It's just like I never had
You're
a
a
problem.
Citibank girl.
I guess I'm a Citibank person. It's fine. I never had reason to not go there. However, now that I have to go there all the time, I'm like, oh, they are the fucking worst. So I'm at this. It took me 2 hours. I was sitting at this bank for like a little over 2 hours. I know it sounds like I just exaggerated, but it really was a little over 2 hours. And my favorite part of it was I was losing my shit, but everyone else was losing their shit too. Like everyone there was getting angry. So this guy eventually stormed out. He's like, call me when you're fucking ready for my signature. And he stormed out. Then a second later, he came back. He's like, I forgot my ID.
And you got to keep yelling.
Yeah.
Because you
He had
already
to-
left on the
he had
yell. You
to
got to let them know.
He took the ID with the same anger that he
Yeah.
had stormed out. You know, I'll take my ID from you now.
Yes, he's keeping up his little angry act.
It was great. It was great.
Aw.
Okay, I think we should do a little segment that I haven't done in a little while, and the people have been clamoring for it. Tony, do you know what it is?
I have a feeling I know.
This or that.
Do you like this or that? Do you like this or that? Do you like this or that?
Apologies if you could hear me snapping in the background. I just couldn't help it. All right, RJ, it's very, very
I'm
basic.
here.
It's this or that. By the way, I saw a clip when I was, you know how sometimes you're watching Instagram stories and you have to have the sound off for various reasons, most of the time.
You just do it as an automatic.
Yeah, you should. Vanna White was on a show and they were doing a segment called This or That. I'm like, oh my God, is it my segment? What were they
Sure,
doing?
yes.
All right, RJ, super salad.
Do I get no follow-up questions?
I don't know.
What kind of soup? What kind of salad?
Oh.
Like, oh.
In general, is it? Are you going to go super
If
salad?
it's not wonton soup, salad.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what dressing are you going with? You're going to be oil and vinegar.
Or vinaigrette.
That's kind of the same.
No, it's not the
it?
same. No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's not the same.
So for oil and vinegar for you is they bring you the little cruettes, the little bottles, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Cruettes.
They're literally called
I know,
cruettes.
but like, it feels like it's a name only for those bottles.
Tony, look up cruette. I don't even Cruet. The first time I heard a girl say cruette, I had the same reaction you did. Like, oh really? Oh, really now? Cruets, I think.
What am I looking for? Just the
The definition.
what they
Just
are.
look it up. Just look it up.
A small container for salt, pepper, oil, or vinegar for use at a dining table.
Salt, pepper. Could I have the salt and pepper cruettes? No, that makes no sense. Okay. Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard. No calories in it.
Hang on, real quick, because then Merriam-Webster says a cruet is a vessel to hold wine or water for the Eucharist.
It all ties together.
Yes, they have similar. They look like you're going to pour in the salad. Yeah.
All right. You know, I'm going to drop this question soon. You can be the last one who gets it. Reading
Because
on
I've done so well with it.
reading on a Kindle or reading a book?
Reading a book.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like to flip the pages on my mouth.
For real?
There's more to do with a book while not reading it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You can totally.
You can't fuck
Fidget.
around with a Kindle. You can't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Audiobook or podcast?
I don't think I've ever listened to an audiobook in my life.
Yeah, I can't get with them. Window or aisle?
Aisle, because I don't want to ask someone to get up. However, I don't mind if they ask me. I'm totally fine with it.
Do you just turn your legs to the side to let them by, or do you stand up?
I stand up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morning or evening?
Morning. Morning is so much better than evening. Evening is awful. The nighttime is a terrible, terrible, disgusting thing.
Are you happy now that we're doing daylight savings?
No, it doesn't make a difference to me. I wake up, period.
No, but I
It's
mean,
not even about daylight to me.
oh, it's just about
like,
the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Being dumped or having to dump someone?
Oh, being dumped. Break up with me all fucking day. Please do me a favor and break up with me.
So you
I
don't
can't
have to do
the
it.
work. Oh, yes. Similarly, how I don't want to sit in the windows.
Right.
Because I don't want to bother the person, but they can bother me. It's the same thing.
But what about the pain of rejection?
I'm good dealing with that. It's the other pain I'm not good dealing with. The pain of disappointing someone.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Big crowd or isolation?
Isolation. Although I will say this, I've had this experience twice now that we've done Wembley twice.
Is it huge?
50,000 people. I've never felt so alone before.
I hate that feeling.
It's very bizarre because you feel like there's no way this many people are paying attention. You know what I mean? They can't see what I'm doing. This makes no sense.
Wait,
Why
you
are
felt
they here?
alone while you were performing?
Yeah. But and just like being in the building, being on the floor and looking around, it feels like Because so many people is its own thing.
Right. Like your brain can't process it as people.
Right.
And so it's just that alone in a crowd feeling is so much worse than being lonely. Or sorry, lonely in a crowd. Lonely in a crowd is so much worse than by yourself.
But
I find.
I would prefer to be alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beach vacation or snow vacation?
Beach vacation, but I'm not interested in going outside. Period.
So, like, you'd like to be in a condo on the beach.
So I was just in Australia.
Oh.
You can come do this. You can
Were you guys
go to
there
the
for the
Gold
show?
Coast. Yeah. And I said, if I can go to the beach, but like, have a desk and my computer and my coffee and then a window and then the beach, great. I don't need to be on the beach.
Yeah. How was Australia? Had you been there before?
It was like if Orlando was British.
I
sounds
say California was.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's the furthest I've ever been away from home. That just kind of feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really not like put out or like woo at all. It was really nice.
Tony.
Yeah.
The woman who plays Gemma, did you know that on Severance? Did you know that she's Australian?
I did not.
Do you know what her name is?
No.
Deechin Lockman. Deechin.
Deechin.
Isn't that so
See,
Australian?
that's why you should listen to the Severance podcast.
Yeah, you would
find
know.
out these behind the scenes.
And you'd hear what she sounds like.
Now you're going to like the show a lot more.
Hell yeah.
Because when she talks, she'll be like, how does she really sound?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's cool.
So cool.
Have you seen the Deechin heavy episode?
Yes, that was the last one we saw, and it's a real mind fuck. Yeah.
Wow. You don't know what we're talking about.
That's fine. I'm sure it's something good. Sure, it made you think.
You also haven't seen Mad Men or Breaking Bad, right?
No.
Because you don't watch current things?
Correct.
Ian-
That's not. I mean, I watch some current things. I can't tell you the
Suddenly
last thing.
Susan?
Only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
I watched that. I haven't even kept up the last season.
Only Murders in the Building is a show that is so good that I never am in the mood to watch. Did you feel that way?
I understand what you're saying.
I have to tell you,
Yeah.
Severance is so good.
Okay, but like, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's not going to sway me to actually watch
I'm
it.
just telling you.
What do you want me to do with it, though? I'm not going to see the show. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ben. I'm not going to see the show.
Why?
Because I hear too much about it.
Okay, that's fair. Like Owen announced that I'm trying to think if I've told you this before. He doesn't believe in God because he's in too many videos and it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of religious stuff that creeps into their kids' YouTube.
Right.
So it just
That's
overexposed.
Great. Hey,
yeah.
guy, you overshot this one a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like God and the Chocolate Rain guy.
Yes.
You talking about Tay Zonde?
Shower or bath?
Shower. I haven't bathed in so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not for me.
Even as a non-washing, relaxing thing,
Right.
I don't find.
I would rather nap.
And also, you can't cry in a bath. You can cry in a shower.
You can cry in a bath.
You got to sit in your tears. It's
Yes. Comedy or drama?
Comedy, although I find things that I would consider to be comedies are some things that people would consider to be dramas.
Example?
The King of Comedy.
Okay.
You've seen the movie?
Mm-hmm. It's been a while, but
Yeah. Or 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams. I find it very
funny?
funny for some reason. His acting, the whole thing is, yeah.
What about Sunset Boulevard? That's not a dark comedy though. That's just
No,
drama,
I wouldn't.
right?
I wouldn't consider that to be.
Okay.
But there are some very funny parts in it.
Love Never Dies is comedy.
Oh,
Accidental.
Fucking, what's better than that?
Dog or cat?
Cat.
How is your cat?
She's great. She's over 20 years old. She's fantastic and not ratty looking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wendy's beginning to look her age. It shows, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Get her some hair dye. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
And lastly,
Yeah.
look before you leap or jump and the net will appear.
I just don't.
You don't do either?
You know what I mean? I try to look and then I will look and then not jump.
Okay.
I don't mean to, you know.
So look instead
Avoid the
of
question like
of
that.
leap.
Yeah.
I feel like we know you better.
You've never heard me say, let's give this a shot.
You said let's fucking go.
Yeah. That's because Tony Khan says, let's fucking go. All the time. And I can't stop saying it. He says it as like an LOL.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Yeah. Okay, let's fucking
fucking
go.
go.
As a goodbye. Yeah. It's not a bad goodbye. You know, if you don't want to say goodbye, not bad.
Right. All right. Let's close out with a Podcast Pal product pick from RJ City.
Podcast Pals product picks.
Wow. I have this little travel pillow, and it's called the world's tiniest pillow.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and it's just a pillow, like it's shaped like a pillow. It's not one of the around your neck things, and it's just for the crook of the neck.
How small is it?
About the size of like a large phone. You
Like
know,
a
those
6S?
big yeah.
The ones that everyone got, and then they're like, this is too much phone.
Yes. Smaller than an iPad.
Okay.
And it just
Like
goes
a
at the
iPad
base of
mini.
your skull for
For-
when you put your head back. And that's all I need
For the plane, you
for
mean?
the plane.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't really used it anywhere else.
World's tiniest pillow.
The tiniest pillow goes in my bag. Because I used to have the travel pillow and oh my God, these apparatuses.
Yes.
Awful. No good. Everyone who uses those is bad. Do you ever see? I used to be a big Sky Mall guy. And they used to have that.
Big hammocker schlemmer guy.
And, you know, lest we forget the sharper image.
Oh, yes, of course.
I think that's where one of the items that my mom had in that drawer might have been from. The one that plugged in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you sure they weren't like tissue massage, fascia,
Oh, I think
Theraguns?
I think that the one that plugged in is sold as a like therapeutic item, but it was
with a
next.
wink at the end.
It was next to a Lilo, which is like
Right.
a it
But
was it was in
also-
her vibrator drawer.
I would also perhaps I've seen some dildos where I go, that's a good shape to use on my neck.
Yeah,
It would get in there, you know?
multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. No, but remember in the Sky Mall, they used to have that inflatable one you would blow up and you would put on the tray table
Yes.
and then put your
yeah,
head
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Those magazines were my life when I was on a plane.
I know it helped pass the time so well. Do you ever get?
Great.
Do they still do in-flight magazines?
No.
Not at all.
Less and less. I think United, within the past year or so, ended theirs.
I like when it's English on one side and Spanish on the other side, but it's exactly the same. And then I try I'm going to read it in both. See how much Spanish I remember.
And I love when it's like, what's in your bag? And you'd read them and you'd be like, that is good. And then just not act on any of the
yes,
information.
exactly.
And then looking at the flight maps in the
Yes.
back that have that flat
Yeah.
globe. And it's like, oh, it goes from here to here. And you would just follow it.
Right.
Follow the line
Yeah.
of the plane like you were retaining any information. Nothing. I didn't
You know
learn
what?
anything.
You know what's a bummer is when your in-flight magazine has a crossword puzzle that's already been done.
So, and this is sick. I fly at least twice a week, and I've been doing that for 3 years now. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 flights, and then connections and whatever.
You must have so many frequent flyer miles.
Yes, but you have to focus on one airline at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would fly United a lot, and they did have a magazine and a crossword, and they changed those magazines maybe once a month. So I would do the crossword every time I got on, and even if I knew all the answers. So if the person was next to me, I would fill
you
it
look-
out and look like a genius. Yeah,
That's a good ploy. RJ City.
yeah. It was
been-
that was a hot one to go out on.
It
That
was.
felt like a closer.
Yeah.
I said, "Let's go out on top."
That's your legacy.
Please forget me when I die.
Ballpoint-
That's all I ask.
Ballpoint pen or pencil? How are you filling this in?
Ballpoint pen.
Wow.
Ooh, are we still doing this or that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Are we still doing what?
This or that.
Oh. No.
What am I? Oh,
I have
you're talking about the crossword?
But I mean, note to self.
Yeah.
Got to add
That's a great
pen
one.
or pencil.
I think you got to revive it. I know that was the last one, but fucking bring it back.
pen or pencil.
Pen.
Okay.
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah. No, but in the crossword, what are you doing? You're doing pen.
Pen. Yeah, I don't fuck around.
Especially if he knows the answers
I
already.
know.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
need.
and they're like, oh, this man's I'm sitting next to a genius.
Wow. Tony, remind me to add pen or pencil to my this or that. We are really putting the finishing touches on this. That segment, that's my legacy.
Yeah.
They're going to put that in the podcast museum.
Wow.
Where is the podcast museum going to be?
In audio form.
Yes. How depressing would that be?
They're going to have those headphones and tape things and you have to wear them. You know? Ugh. This can be the worst. This is such an ugly medium. It really is.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to insult you. It's not about you. But don't you feel like it's an ugly medium?
How do you mean that?
Do you ever go like, the art of the podcast? Like a book
Oh my
is
God.
a beautiful...
If someone said the art of a podcast, I would throw a shoe at
Right.
them. I hated you when you said it. No offense.
But like, you know, a book
I don't-
or painting, you can understand the beauty of painting as an act.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Musical theater, anything like that. Podcasting, no. It's very...
Yeah.
It's not even street art. Let's not even call it art.
Right.
Podcasting is like so disposable. And I know, and I'm not trying to insult anyone who listens to it. I love people who listen to it. I'm just saying, let's not elevate. It's communication.
Yes.
But it's not an art form unless I'm doing it.
Yeah. Sure.
That's what they say.
Pen or pencil.
Right? Doesn't that... Can't you just imagine like an in memoriam and it's like me and then it says, you know,
It's like
quotes,
pen or pencil, and then the screen turns black and white, and they put Allison Rose.
Yes.
In slow motion.
Oh my God. Because when I say pen or pencil, the whole world listens and smiles.
I'm worried about the photo they're going to put on the top of my casket.
Do you have to have a photo?
I don't have to, but I'm sure there will be a picture of me.
It's gonna be your card.
Here's the guy. This is the guy who doesn't want to have a legacy, but he's also concerned about the photo they're going to have on his tombstone
Yeah.
because they're probably going to want to.
Yeah. You're just on the casket.
Oh, the cat. Oh,
that's right.
I thought.
No.
I see. Okay. That's very different. I take back what I said. I'm sorry. I thought because sometimes tombstones have a photo, and
Sometimes
that's a
it's
little
they
extra.
Look awful. They look terrible.
I don't. Yeah, not. I don't think that's a good idea.
No. Nobody looks good engraved.
Yes. What will they use on your casket? Is a good question.
Yeah.
Just have an
I don't
open
know.
casket.
It's good for the immediate family. I need them to know I'm gone. Nobody else needs to see this. Nobody looks good dead.
Not
Most
as good
people
as
don't look
living.
good alive.
Right. You're right. All right. So, are you going to make me do your plugs?
You've gotten so good at them. It would be wrong of me to stop you now.
Please check out Hey EW every Sunday morning on YouTube at the crack of dawn. Also, while you're at YouTube, go to the TBS YouTube and check out A Meal and a Match with Renee Paquette and RJ City. And then also, he does Coffee and Underwear. RJ City drinks coffee in his underwear every Sunday right after Hey. No, it's what time is it?
9:30
Eastern.
AM.
AM.
Yeah.
And then he's got these trading cards. Where do you go to get those?
Upperdeck.com.
Yeah.
Shop AEW has them. They're
Sometimes
AEW.
Target has them.
Yeah. We don't go in and ask for me, though.
Right. Or just search RJ City and you'll find all of his stuff.
It's all there.
Yeah. Tony.
Available.
Tony Thaxton on some of the things. I barely post anymore, though. And MotionCitySoundtrack.com for tour dates.
The reunion tour.
Follow me everywhere, please. I am all of the places. And then also Patreon and Substack. It'd be wonderful.
Patreon. Substack.
Support me on those. I'd like to thank you for being on the show. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?